And here we are. So welcome to our virtual open house tonight for next year. So like I said, please, for those of you just joining, please contribute into the chat box and we'll be monitoring those this evening. We will have an opportunity to view the program, get an overview from me, and then give each teaching team an opportunity to give a short explanation for each class, each program. Then we'll also have a question and answer segment at the end. So if you have a question that we didn't have a chance to answer, then we can certainly address that. I do ask though, out of the interest of time, if you have a question you think that is very specific to your child, to email me separately, just so that we can try and stay within the hour time constraint. And we appreciate that. I will certainly get back to you. So you can learn more about us on our website, where this is the link. When I share the deck with everyone, you'll be able to click on this directly and it'll take you to our website if you haven't visited there already. It's a great resource for all sorts of information for our program philosophy, class information, tuition information. You'll also be able to view our brand new promo video that you can see, like the roof, the camera view from Carroll Center, which is really interesting. You know, it shows all the solar panels that are on top of the roof where I'm in right now. The roof of Austin Gardens, which is also fantastic too. The green roof there, which is pretty amazing. Okay, so please check out the website. It has lots of information. So here's our philosophy for our program. I am not going to read all of this, but you can see that it's quite in depth, and we take our positions and responsibilities very seriously when we're here to educate your children as well as work with you as the family. So we provide these developmentally appropriate nurturing environments for your children that encompass all domains of development with hands-on opportunities for them to learn. And we combine what we do with center time activities to meet all of those curricular areas that you are interested in having your child learn about. Literacy, math, science, art, motor activities, and with a look towards the future of those 21st century problem-solving skills and flexible thinking habits. So it's not just about the content with us, we're trying to look forward and build those skill set. So what does that look like in real life? It's like, yeah, Barb, we have all this teacher jargon, teacher language, but what does that look like from a real perspective? So we firmly believe in these points that you see before you here. So play is the vehicle in which all learning takes place. We are a play-based program, meaning that children have constant opportunities to play and learn through materials, through interactions with others, including teachers and children and family. We encourage a love of learning. We focus on breadth instead of depth, meaning we expose children to lots and lots of opportunities in the classroom. We teach them that school is a good place to be. There's a direct correlation between the number of days a child attends kindergarten as to their graduation rate in high school. So there's a direct correlation between the number of days a child attends kindergarten as to their graduation rate in high school, meaning that an education starts from a very young age, teaching children and families that school is very important, and that learning also is very important and embracing new things. So it's our goal to get to the next point and truly believe that a young child's preschool education is not a precursor to real learning, because what we do is very real. Play is the work of young children, and that's what we do best. So to lead into our curriculum then, as you can see, social and emotional development is our priority in young children. So what does that mean? What does that look like? So taking turns, language, communication development, self-help skills, empathy, independence, working together in a group, emotional self-regulation, all fall under that domain. So we constantly work with these concepts and ideas plus more on a daily basis with young children. That's our foundation where we're trying to help build up for your child. This also then, our day is also layered with academic instruction, with those provided with hands-on opportunities, meaning they're authentic with the letters, shapes, numbers, content understanding. That looks like playing with puzzles, writing names on projects, graphing your favorite vegetable, measuring the length of the classroom using polar bear feet as a non-standard unit of measurement. We just did that last week. Using manipulatives and playing with sensory. So through playing with these objects and interacting with others, that is exactly how academic instruction is presented to children, and they learn because it makes sense to them in an authentic and real way. So our program does not utilize a program that's out of the box, meaning that it's not purchased. This isn't something that we have a subscription to. Our teachers have the flexibility and the ability to be creative in what they present to children. So that means we have an emergent curriculum. So these themes that we use to teach children about, they vary from year to year. So even though your child may be in a preschool class one year and preschool again the next year, it doesn't mean that they'll have the same content exposure, but it will mean they have the same growth opportunities because we come from that breadth rather than depth opportunity. So the themes can last a week or two or a month. It depends on the skill levels and interest in individual classes. So this preschool class this year over at Carroll has not as much interest in art projects. And so that is not the focus of what happens in preschool. They are much more interested in building and creating. So it's the marble run that comes out. It is puzzles that come out. It is the geometric gears that come out, and opportunities that children have to be able to build. As just an example. So other examples of some themes that we can use, that we have used in the past and may use again in the future: the way things work, friendships, all about me, bees and butterflies. So they range in all sorts of kind of domains that fit into those titles. So teachers are trusted. So every classroom teaching team designs and chooses what works for their room, and that they may happen to choose the same idea, but they don't often match, meaning that the Carroll Center preschool may engage in a theme this week that is based on Antarctica, and Nature Preschool also happens to be engaging in the topic this week or last week on Antarctica as well. But that's not always the case, because we listen to children, we take into account what their interests are, because when we do that, they're really engaged in learning. So our assessment process looks like this. This is an overview of it. So we create sample portfolios. Families are shared these portfolios at the end of the school year. We use developmental checklists that are aligned with the Illinois Early Learning Standards. We have a biannual screening using the Ages and Stages questionnaire that is in conjunction with the Collaboration for Early Childhood. Current families, you'll be getting that email from me in a couple days about reminding you to do that again this year for spring. We have conferences twice a year, November, and then in end of April, beginning of May. And there's also an option to meet or talk with any of the teachers or me about your child's development at any time. We also, through the collab, offer vision and hearing screenings as well. Those are completed this week too. And we also work very well with outside agencies, the School District 97 here in Oak Park, WESRA, which is the West Suburban Special Recreation Association, EI, that's early intervention. And we have a strong connection with these agencies to be able to identify and assess children and see where they are along that growth continuum. So if we notice that there's a child may need a boost in one area or another, or they're off the charts in another area, that we will work with the child, we'll work with you to be able to take the next steps in their own development that makes sense. So here's our class offerings for next school year. So our school year runs from, it's always the day after Labor Day until the Friday before Memorial Day. So the numbers and the dates can change a little bit, but that's typically our 9-month school year. In the summertime, we have summer camps at our locations here at the Park District, so our program is not year-round. We do not offer a full day preschool experience either, so you can see the times for our classes. They take place in the mornings because we, as the Park District, our buildings are used quite a bit. So there's an after-school program that is in our buildings after we are finished for the day in a non-COVID year. So we're hoping next fall we'll have be more back to normal that way. There's a note here as well. Lunch Bunch will be offered depending on the enrollment of Lunch Bunch, meaning at some locations we'll be able to offer an extended day option for children. So in years past, we've been able to do an extra 2 hours tacked on to the end of preschool or pre-K, where children would bring lunch from home, have lunch together, engage in some games and play with materials, have some time outside on the playground together, and then go home about 2 hours later. So we did not offer that this year due to a variety of factors, but I'm hoping to be able to offer that again in the fall. Someone else had a question of what our ratios are, so I try to include that on this chart right here. So you can see what our ratios are for play school, nature preschool, preschool Spanish, preschool, and pre-K. So as you can imagine, as children go older, then the ratios get a little bit bigger. We are well below the ratios for what DCFS requires, so that we can offer that individualized attention. So when you have fewer children, you can have a much more thoughtful interactions with children in the classroom. So here are some sample class schedules. I know that this is a lot to look at on your screen, but you can see on the left-hand side, there's play school. On the right-hand side, there's preschool and Spanish preschool. These are samples. They can vary. Teachers, once they've established their routine for the course of the day, they really stick with that to provide continuity for children. But at the same time, there is flexibility within that, especially like a week like this week where we can't get outside every day because it's just too cold. So again, when I send you the deck or the stack of these slides, you'll be able to look at these in depth. Here's our pre-kindergarten and our nature preschool schedule. So pre-kindergarten is a little smaller on the page because that's a half hour longer. You can see there's a little bit more to fit in. And then nature preschool, please take note that the times there can vary widely depending on the weather. So this week, with the temperatures being so severely cold, it's been limited time outside, but otherwise children are outside even in the rain. They are outside even when it's mostly cold. And that's really the only thing that keeps nature preschool children and teachers inside is lightning and severe cold. So they're outside in the rain. So the nature preschool teachers will be able to advise you on all sorts of equipment that they would need to be able to have outside and be successful. We do ask certainly in the wintertime or whatever weather is happening outside for your children to be geared up appropriately. We go outside more often than not. So boots and snow pants and mittens and gloves and hats and all of the above are in good order because your child will be putting them on when we go outside to play. So registration, again, there's a lot of information here. So currently enrolled and priority Oak Park resident families, your registration begins this Monday at 8:30 a.m. If you are in this category, you should have received an email from me earlier this morning. If you did not receive an email from me earlier this morning and you already know that you're currently enrolled or you're in that priority category, please reach out and I will make sure to follow up. Otherwise, Oak Park residents, your registration would start on Saturday, February 27th. Currently enrolled in priority non-resident families, Saturday, March 6th, at 8:30 a.m. again, and all others can start to register on Saturday, March 13th at 8:30 a.m. So if you are a currently enrolled and priority non-resident family, you will get a separate email from me about how to be able to manage the registration process. So that will come out probably next week, I'm hoping. We have a little time for that, okay? So again, if you're in that first bullet point there, the currently enrolled in priority Oak Park resident family, and you did not get that email from me, let me know. So also for the registration process is quick. So many classes do fill with the priority enrollment taking place on Monday, 2/15. They all may not. Register as soon as you can. I will encourage you to do that. You may sign up for more than one class if there's space. So sometimes families stitch together the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday for the week. Consider the wish list option in Amelia, where you'd be able to go in ahead of time and add these classes to your wish list. It may help the registration process along a little bit. And then sign up for the free wait list. So if the class you'd like to register your child for is unavailable, please sign up for the wait list. This will help me and the higher senior leadership be able to determine what we can offer or change up for the future. So you can see the registration information there. It's a $50 deposit to hold the spot. Your first installment or September's tuition is due May 15th. You can pay in full or use monthly installments, and that's also paid out on the 15th of the month. So September 1st is the age cutoff in the state of Illinois, and we do accept registration throughout the year if space allows. You can see I'm hitting all of my questions. So here's a big question that we often encounter from parents. I get phone calls like this quite often. So here we go. So the difference between preschool and pre-kindergarten. So preschool, children can start the year either being 3 years old or 4 years old. And in pre-K, children can start the year being 4 years old. So if you're 4 years old and in preschool, you will still go to kindergarten in the fall. If you are starting pre-K, starting 4 years old, you will still go to kindergarten in the fall. So all children headed to kindergarten that following fall will be ready, regardless of the program you registered for. So preschool has a shorter class time, a smaller group size, a strong emphasis on social emotional development like independence, self-advocacy, problem solving, and fewer days of the week give families options. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. So pre-K, it's 30 minutes longer. There is a larger class size, still has a strong emphasis on social emotional development and a little bit more of an emphasis on academics because as time allows. That's also 5 days a week. So you know your child best. Some children are ready for a 5-day-a-week experience. Other children are not, and it's okay. It's really, really okay. Because if they're exhausted by Thursday, it's going to be complicated for them to be able to get, experience all that we want them to experience out of pre-K if they're tired. So you know your child the best that way. So I often get this question as well. What can I do to get my child ready? Oh boy. So you can see that ready is in quotes. Everyone is ready for preschool. Everyone is ready for preschool. So please rest assured that when your child walks through the door or maybe cries their way through the door, we are ready for them. And we understand that this is a normal part of child development. So our teachers are highly qualified and very experienced and understand that this is the process of growth for young children. So what can you do to get your child ready? Read books, play with blocks and Play-Doh and count. And it sounds so simple. And you're like, Barb, that can't be it. It is, because when you do this with your children, you're developing those relationship skills and you're laying the groundwork and the precursor to later academic success. But it all starts right here. So what I think is funny is that, not funny, it's the wrong word, fascinating, is that expectations have grown, but human development hasn't changed. So what was appropriate for you and I to experience as young children is still appropriate today, in the sense that we need to read books and play with blocks and Play-Doh and count. Okay, so, but here's another thing you can do. Encourage age-appropriate independence. So the words we like to say at school a lot are these kind of quotes here below. Try it once. If you need help, then we'll help you. Try and put those mittens on. Try and zip up your coat. Try and throw that paper towel in the garbage after you wash your hands yourself, or try and push the pumper on the soap dispenser yourself. Try it once. If you need help, we'll help you. Dressing, washing hands, taking shoes on and off. Children take shoes on and off every day. So dressing them in tops and pants and coats and mittens that they can manage themselves helps a lot, where they can be successful. So make sure your child knows it's okay to ask for help from the teacher and from other children. If they're willing to try new things, remember, try it once. If you need help, I'll help you. And there is no specific criteria to enroll. So we understand that there's a wide range of development. Think about when your child first started walking, where, you heard from your sister-in-law, my child started walking when they were 8 months old. And you're like, oh my gosh, my child is 12 months old. Is that within the range of normal? And I'm saying that as a joke, but it's very true. There's a wide range of when children hit those developmental milestones, and it's all fine. It's all within the range of normal, and we expect that. So leading into to potty train or not to potty train. So it's not required for our program. It is encouraged. We are not set up though physically in our programs to be able to do diaper changing. So you will need to return for large accidents, meaning if it's a little potty accident, we will help the children with that. But if they have a great big number 2, then we will be making a phone call and saying, please come on back and help your child. And that's with any of our programs. Frequently asked questions. A lot of people were worried about COVID. Understandably, here we are sitting here with masks on. So masks are on at all times for students and for teachers, unless they're eating or drinking. We do space children out when they're having snack. They're on opposite ends of 6-foot-long tables for that purpose. So they do have their masks off at that point, and they know at the end of snack that mask goes back on, and then they throw their garbage away and they can carry on with the day. So we do spread them out that way. We are socially distant as much as possible, meaning it's very hard to be developmentally appropriate and socially distanced. So if your child falls down and scrapes their knee, it's going to be very hard to comfort them if they're 6 feet away. So we've adapted somewhat to be able to say, come here, little person, I want to help you with your tears because you got hurt. We may not crouch down on their level and be face to face with them, but we'll hug them from the side. Okay. Or we understand that just having a smaller group size will help with being socially distant because there's less possibility of contagion within the classroom. And we wash hands all the time. I think all of our clothes have bleach spots on them. Like I left today with like 4 bleach spots on my sweater. So we're bleaching everything within an inch of its life. And I like to say that we can hopefully keep this going, but we've had 0 cases this year from children, and we're excited about that and hope that we can continue. We do daily health checks, meaning that the teachers check in children and families every day, and they ask those daily questions. Like, do they have a fever? Of course, we record their temperature. We write that down. We record that, which is required for DCFS. We hold on to that information. And we're asking for simple things like, do they have a runny nose? Because a runny nose, unfortunately, is a sign of COVID. In other years, it would not be as big of a deal as it is now. But if your child has a runny nose, they have to stay home until it's resolved. Now, there could be exceptions for that if they have allergies or something, and we'll work with you for that. We do have socially distant pick up and drop off, meaning families are lined up outside 6 feet apart. We've had fantastic communication with our families and support this year, and we'd like that to continue. We work very closely with our own risk manager here at the Park District and the VOP, and it's been fantastic to be able to have that resource, which is a huge benefit for being part of a large agency like this. is that we have those resources available. So if needed, depending on what happens with the status of COVID-19, we are prepared to offer our virtual preschool class. That's our preschool Zoomers, and you'll hear more about that in a little bit. Right now, it's not being offered in Amelia for registration. We're holding back because we're hoping that that won't be necessary, but it's in our back pocket if we need to. So general safety practices, safety is a priority. We follow GCFS guidelines. The teachers are all CPR and first aid certified. The use of pennies. You have probably seen our participants outside, our students outside. Every child that's in our class wear these athletic pennies, so they're easily identifiable to us. If, let's say, if there's another couple children that are playing on the playground at the same time as we are, we know who our kids are. You know, not that we wouldn't know who our kids are, but it just kind of helps with the visualness of that. We do fire practices, safety practices every month. Fire practices every month, tornado practices twice a year, and safety practices are what we call our active shooter preparedness drills. So that means going to safe places for children. We never call it active shooter for obvious reasons, but we call it safety practices where we know, where we help children to be able to say, we're going over here to be safe together. It's very simplistic kind of a way to talk about that. I am going to be an ALICE certified trainer next month in March. So we do have, which will, all of our teachers undergo training for that, as well as the larger Park District staff. Authorized pickup. We do not release your child to anyone we do not have written permission for. So if you get a phone call because, you know, there's your neighbor is standing at the door trying to pick up your child and you forgot to let us know, that's okay. We will make sure that we do not release your child to anyone that we don't have permission for. So we have our risk manager on speed dial. So Kelsey is fantastic with that. And she's at the ready to be able to help us with whatever we need as part of our large audience. So getting started for school. So when are you going to know about the first day of school? I typically send out those communications in July. So what to expect the first day, our hello visit scheduling, what to bring, paperwork, etc. Hello visits are a 15-minute opportunity for you to just touch base with your child's teacher to be able to get to know them a little bit better. That's typically scheduled right before school starts. Yes, that's in person. Thank you. So teaching teams are announced close to the start of school. So a lot of time between now and September. And things are so volatile at this point that it's just better to release that information at later time. Snack, right now, children are bringing snack from home. In the past, we've done all sorts of things where the Park District would provide it. Right now, children are bringing it from home. I will have more of an update for that for you later on in the season when it gets closer to school year starting. Paperwork, what am I gonna need? Every child needs to have a copy of their birth certificate and a completed medical form from their doctor. Birth certificates are only needed once. Medical forms have to be updated every 2 years. So we also utilize our CampDoc online database for this pertinent information. Permission forms, authorize people to pick your child up from school, health information, allergies, other health concerns, or vaccination records are all contained within this database that then we can access. It's really great for parents. So you just go online, you fill out this information, teachers have access to it at any point. So if suddenly you need to add your neighbor to your authorized pickup list, you can just go on in there and update that. Or you got a new cell phone number, you can go on in and update that. I'll encourage you to let the teachers know, but it's a great spot to be able to do it. So connecting with families. This year, it's very awkward for us because we are, saying goodbye to parents at the door. We're not letting parents inside the building to help their child bring their things in and wash their hands, because that's the first thing you do when you come to school is wash your hands. It's very limited during COVID, and we're really feeling ready to get back to what this next step looks like. So in a typical year, we'll ask families to chaperone walking field trips, be a guest reader, come to class parties, share a favorite tradition or a skill during class. If you know how to play the guitar, come on in and teach us. Evening family events, evening or weekend park play dates, end of the year celebrations. We understand that not everyone has time during the school day to be able to come in and do these things. So we really make an effort to have opportunities at night so everybody can hopefully come. So how will you know what's going on? We have an app that we use named Homeroom, and teachers upload pictures and notes there for your information about what's going on, emails, phone calls, certainly chatting at the door, and then those conferences as well. And here's my last slide. I love this image. So thank you for attending tonight. So we are so looking forward to working with you and your child and the rest of your family next fall. We're hoping that you can register with us. So with that, we are going to now be able to hear a little bit from some of our teachers to be able to share information about their specific programs. So we're going to start from a young age and we're going to age up and go older than that. So I believe we're going to start with Wendy and Krishna, who are our 2-year-old teachers. So they're going to take it from here.
Hi, thanks for listening. I'm Wendy Negron, the lead teacher for the Playschool program. And I just want to say I have a few notes written down in the interest of time. Can you hear me? Okay.
A little bit louder, Wendy.
A little louder. So in the interest of time, I may reference my notes. I think I speak for all my colleagues. We're very passionate about what we do, but we want to convey the right points to you right now. So again, I'm Wendy Negron. I'm the lead teacher for the Playschool program. Our program includes children 2 years old by September 1st of the school year. So some children will be turning 3 in the fall, some turn 3 late in the summer. The child of 2 and 3 years old is full of urges, physical urges especially. And I love working with this age because I relate so sincerely with their desire for an active role in their life. In Playschool, we promote this intentional and purposeful behavior with a really good variety of sensory inputs. Yet in a group setting, which is often their first in Playschool, this vital will of young children requires really mindful engagement of teachers. To help them feel effective in this new environment of things and people, it is our job to help them demonstrate objective self-awareness and situational self-awareness. In other words, they want to exist, they want to be validated, and you know what? There's a social norm, and believe it or not, they want to be accepted. So in our program, we've designed the space and the ideas with room for these really tender interactions to occur in Playschool. So with that, I want you to meet Krishna.
Hi everyone, I'm Krishna Morales. I am the assistant Playschool teacher. I teach with Wendy. We're partners in crime. It's pretty great. So I'm here to help students transition into their first big social school setting. I'm here to help them with their groundbreaking first. So their first friends, their first time having to communicate with their friends and letting them know what they want, but also communicate and kind of translate what they need from us and from their friends. So that's kind of what I do here. Yeah, I'm here for all of it. I'm literally here for all of it, and it's kind of wonderful just because we do it all through play. So it's a lot of fun.
So I'll just sum up the components and goals of Playschool. A very important aspect of what we do here at Playschool is getting related to your child. We spend the first weeks, months, and honestly the entire year understanding their temperament, allowing their sense of self to emerge, and really witnessing their special interests grow. And every day we are furnishing materials and planning activities and honestly modeling and opportunities in the following areas of learning: communication, verbal and nonverbal experiences as a speaker and receiver, problem solving, finding practice and purpose with materials and ideas. In literacy, there's promotion of interest in books, awareness of print, identifying and producing rhymes and enjoying song. Mathematics, experience reciting and corresponding numbers and noticing patterns. Physical, choosing within a variety of large muscle activities and experimenting regularly with hand-eye coordination tasks. Symbolic thinking is alive at this stage and onward in early childhood, developing pretend play, with verbal planning, emotion, and sequencing actions. This is just where so much comes alive in our room here in Playschool. And finally, social and emotional strength comes in a loving environment where children may slow down and really learn ways to recover from upset. And that's really what this is about, is experiencing disruption and discord, and how do I recover? So that is our bit from Playschool, and we will move along. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy. Thanks, Krista. That's lovely. What a great way to start out our program. Thank you. So to build on that, I'm going to share my partner next to me. It's Karen Barra. So the two of us here together are going to talk about our traditional preschool program.
Hi, my name is Karen Barra. I'm the lead preschool teacher here at Carroll Center. And currently Barb is assisting me in the classroom, but she's actively interviewing candidates for the assistant teacher here.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that.
The assistant had a shift in her college schedule, so she started taking her early childhood education classes. And fortunately, her semester schedule changed. So Karen and I are really good friends.
Yes, having a good time.
It's a good thing we worked well together.
Yes. Well, our class starts with 3 and 4-year-olds in the fall. We have some kids, children who, have just had their 3rd birthday. So they're on the young side. And we have some older 4s that turn 5 during the year. So we end up with 3, 4s, and 5s. And that gives us a class of a range of abilities and developmental readiness. But no matter where a child starts or where they're at, everyone is learning together. And I think everybody feels accepted and helping each other to learn and to work together. So that makes it for lots of fun. We do have the 3-day program on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and this 2-day program on Tuesday and Thursday. And I like this because it offers parents a choice and the flexibility according to their work schedules, childcare arrangements, family members that are involved in their households, and it gives parents a time for enrichment activities and going places with your child. I know this year hasn't probably opened up as much opportunity, but hopefully in the next coming year, there will be time to go places and have lots of fun if you choose not to have a 5-day program. And I love the 3s and 4s and 5-year-olds. I've worked with them for over 20 years, so I keep coming back for more fun. I think they're spontaneous, enthusiastic, curious. They're eager to learn and play. They come running into the door, ready to have fun. And the amazing thing is how much they grow and change in one school year. And you even see it on a weekly basis or on a daily basis, their achievements and the milestones that they reach. So that's really exciting.
The goals, and then maybe that's good.
Yeah. And Barb has been very thorough in covering our, our program information, but some goals specifically related to this, this age group. There are still separation issues and growth in that area for the children so that they are able to become more confident in coming to school. And the COVID restrictions have not allowed parents into the building. So we know that when a child cries at the front door, it's also hard on the parents as well as the children. But we want you to trust us. I know you do. And we are very reassuring and patient. And we know that given just a little bit of time, your children will achieve those goals of coming to school and coming right through the door and not, crying, but feeling confident and looking forward to school.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've had a good success rate. I think in 20 years, I've only had one child that just couldn't make it and had to withdraw. So we're very reassuring and patient. We know it takes time, but we're here to make sure your child makes that successful step.
Great. I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Karen.
Okay.
I'm going to mute myself, but then pass it over
right.
to Michelle and Retta to hear about Nature Preschool.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Ehring. I'm the lead nature preschool teacher here at Austin Gardens. My other half here.
I'm Retta Hennessy, and I'm Michelle's teaching assistant here at Nature Preschool at Austin Gardens.
Very similar, setup and time frame as the other preschool, which I know you already heard about, and we're running short on time. The difference in our program would be the embrace of nature. We spend at least half of our day outside. A week like this week, a little bit different, but it's really rare that we're not spending 50% of our time outdoors. Typically, we'll start our morning with a lovely walk. We invite our students to really take in their environment. And this is something children do very naturally, right? They're very curious and inquisitive. Being outdoors in nature, all of their senses are being stimulated. They're taking in the sounds and the colors and the textures. And it's a wonderful, I always say this is my dream job. So this is a wonderful place to be. So we start our morning with a walk. Children explore, they're excited about new things every day. It might be a new track that we found and we want to figure out what it is. There might be a question that comes up, cause and effect. We're constantly talking about cause and effect. Miss Retta, why is the bark all vertical in this tree? Well, let's take a look. We get the water bottle out and we pour the water down, down the bark. What do you think? Why is that happening, right? So they're constantly having questions, which comes so organically, so naturally when we're outside. We also are indoors, right? We spend a little bit of our time in here, but we're also bringing nature in with us. So you can see we have 2 indoor classrooms, and of course our outdoor classrooms. So, let's say we're outside earlier in the fall, we got excited about the cocoons that we noticed were developing in our pine trees right outside of our door. And so we did some research and we found out what those were. They're bagworms, and we've been observing them all year. No matter how cold it gets, however the wind is blowing, those things hold on. So they're really excited to see them turn into moths this spring. They made a little bagworm moth. Our students love art here. So we do a lot of process art where we'll give them materials and they just create something naturally that they're interested in. Or they may say, I want to bring in these pine cones. What can we do with these? But we also do a lot of collaborative projects. And that's something that nature lends itself really well to. When the children are outside and they're trying to figure something out, they're working as a team. It happens so naturally on a daily basis, and they really learn to build those relationships with each other and care for each other and help each other out. Retta, did you want to speak to some of our arts?
I would just say that it's a joy, privilege to be here. I support learning in nature, all learning early childhood. We know that children are naturally curious, natural explorers, and something I get to do is share with Michelle love of nature and also love of early childhood. So I'm very grateful to be here. You can see possibly in the back, we have a couple of murals. We talked about how animals migrate, how some adapt, and how some hibernate. And both classes work together to replicate our outdoor Austin Garden Park. So we have process art, we have materials available, and we also support those things that the children are interested in through our literature and all our activities.
Absolutely. And I think that the most exciting thing about teaching a nature-based program, besides just children are so happy to be outside, no matter what the weather. Our kids do not get cold here. They build up that strength and they stay warm out there. I think the most exciting thing is that they're learning all of the other important things very organically. So when we're exploring something outside, they're counting it, right? They might trace letters in the sand outside. We're constantly bringing in the same elements that you're going to see in other preschool programs, but just more in a nature-focused, very organic way. So thank you.
Great, thanks, Michelle. Thank you, Retta. So let's hear from Maria. Maria and Brandon are our pre-K teachers, so we'll hear from them next.
Hi everyone, my name's Maria and I am the lead pre-K teacher at Carroll Center. The children in pre-K are 4 years old at the start of the school year. Brandon is my assistant teacher.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon. I will be working with Maria this year at Carroll Center.
So one thing that I love about teaching this age group is that they are so eager to learn at this age. They ask so many questions. They're so curious about so many things, and it makes lesson planning just so much fun. We are able to really dig into that emergent curriculum and are able to follow their interests. And it's so great as teachers to see them engaged in the activities that they're doing because they are truly interested in it. And that is just what they want to learn. So Mr. Brandon is going to share what he loves about pre-K.
What I love about teaching at Carroll Pre-K is just learning what each child's interests are and getting to know a little bit more about their personality, what they want to be when they grow up. At this age, children either have a good idea of what they want to be when they grow up, or they're still trying to explore new options, new experience to learn about more and just to develop those experiences more. So we are tailoring our curriculum and our lesson planning to incorporate those new experiences, whether it be through dance, through arts and crafts, artwork, games, and pretty much anything tailored to the math, science, and English and writing and dramatic play, which is one of our great stations at our center. So yeah, we try to incorporate those experiences for them so they can learn more about the subject, about different various topics, and to bring something new for them to learn.
I'll talk a little bit about what our goals in pre-K are. Our goal is to just make sure that children have the necessary skills to easily and smoothly transition into kindergarten. Our lesson plans target all areas of development, physical, cognitive, and social emotional. Our main focus, like Barb said, is social emotional development. And we try to keep a balance of social emotional and play-based learning with academics. And some of the academic activities that are included in pre-K are journal writing, learning to recognize and write their name first and last, letter and number recognition, phonemic awareness, and rhyming. We try to incorporate all of these things into our lesson plans at daily circle times and daily table activities that we do. Mr. Brandon's gonna briefly speak on our social emotional goals.
Yes, so one of our major goals during our curriculum is to develop social emotional skills. What is social emotional skills and what are some examples that we do in the classroom setting, if you're wondering? So example would be like, in a general sense, like mannerisms, learning to take turns, sitting quietly during our story time, politely asking people for things, saying no ma'am or yes please and thank you, and also incorporating a lot of different positive interactions, not with just their peers but with their teachers as well.
And overall, we really value the importance of building relationships with you and with your child. We know that we have a common goal of seeing your child succeed, and I believe there's no better way of achieving this than working as a team. So thank you.
Great, thanks Maria, thanks Brandon. We appreciate your input there. So I'm looking at the clock and I want to be respectful of what the time is here. We always have a lot more to share than we have time on the clock, unfortunately. So I'm going to speak a little bit about Spanish preschool and then we'll open it up to the Q&A portion. I was looking in the chat and I do think that we can answer those questions in a pretty efficient way. So here's your last moment to stick something in the chat box if you need a question answered, okay? And we're gonna collect those to be able to talk about them. So our Spanish program is new for us. We tried to offer it this year until COVID got in the way, and that obviously went a little bit differently than we had thought. So it will be offered at Carroll Center. We thought the south end of town where Carroll is adjacent to Lincoln Elementary School. Lincoln has their immersion Spanish program. So we thought that having Carroll right across the way would be a great opportunity for families to combine the two. We are not connected with the school district in that sense, like taking Spanish preschool with us would not give your child an advantage over someone else to get in to Spanish preschool in D97. But from a developmental standpoint, it's a great idea. It's an absolutely great idea. So while Lincoln has a Spanish immersion program, our program isn't immersion, meaning they're not, the teachers are not speaking Spanish 100% of the time. They will speak Spanish on an increasing basis throughout the year. So on day one, they're going to be 100% English until we figure out what is happening with the specific skill set and the abilities of the children in that particular class. So the amount of Spanish that the teachers will be speaking will be going up and up and up. And our goal is to get to a 50-50 ratio between teachers saying 50% in Spanish, 50% in English. Our goal is not to have a child be fluent in another language by the end of the school year. Our goal is to have children be exposed to another language to be able to encourage that brain development and that socialization piece that comes along with learning about another culture, learning about geography, hearing stories and songs, and just being able to embed themselves into hearing another language. So you can think, so this is why Spanish preschool and traditional preschool are kind of matched up together, so to speak, in some ways, because we're just layering Spanish on top of what that traditional preschool experience looks like. So we'll have books in both English and Spanish. In our classrooms, we have what's called environmental print, where there's labels on chairs and tables and doors that show children what these squiggly lines mean in context. So there will be, a sign on a table that says table in English. It'll also say table in Spanish. Our Spanish teachers will be native Spanish speakers. Learning Spanish for me will be very different experience than someone who is a native Spanish speaker. So we want to ensure that kind of experience for your child. So we're really excited about that. When I send out the deck, I will be sending out more information about why a bilingual experience is a great idea and why and some of our other sorts of informational components as to why we do what we do. So hopefully that's a quick introduction as to what Spanish preschool can look like. Send me an email if you have more questions. I'm happy to chat. I'm happy to talk. Okay, so Emily, where are we with our chat room questions?
So a couple other questions we have. To define better, what is the priority Oak Park resident and what is a priority non-resident?
Sure, thank you. So a priority Oak Park resident means that you are obviously a resident of Oak Park and you are either currently enrolled in our play school, preschool, pre-kindergarten, or our virtual Zoomer class. You're enrolled right now, or you were enrolled before COVID got in the way last year. Like you would have been enrolled with our program now, but we dropped you from the program on July 29th this past summer because we had to shift the world due to COVID, okay? If you're a priority non-resident, that also means you're currently enrolled in any of our play school, preschool, pre-K, and Zoomers class, but you happen to live in Chicago or River Forest or Berwyn or any of our surrounding kinds of suburbs. So that's why there's that 4-tiered registration process. So there's currently a priority enrolled OP residents, then Oak Park residents, then priority enrollment for non-residents, and then everyone else. Okay, so there's that 4-tiered process. So if you are a priority Oak Park resident, hopefully you got that email from me today. If you are a priority non-resident, I will be sending out that kind of informational email within the next week or so that you can have that information. I hope that helps.
Okay, I'm going to lump a few together because it's
Great.
about spaces in classes.
Okay.
How many spaces are available in each class? Is there only one space of play school before? Because we used to be at other buildings and had multiple opportunities there. And will any pre-K spaces be held and saved for children who are already 5 at the cutoff? So my understanding is, will there be any pre-K spots reserved for children who do not make it into early kindergarten for District 97? So they are turning 5 in September of this year. And so is there special spaces for that type of
Okay,
child's
so
needs?
normally they would have been going to kindergarten in the fall, but they're essentially having an extra year of pre-K. Is that your
I think it might be an early admission, trying to get in early to pre-K, but they would still be 4. So they're just wondering if they have applied or trying to get in early to District 97, is there a reserved spot for just in case that doesn't work out?
Okay, so thank you. Thank you for that. So if I skip over one, I know you'll help me out with that, Emily. So thank you. Yeah. One more?
Still 4 for most of September. So there'll be 4 as of September 1st. So they are.
Okay, great. So since September 1st is the cutoff, it's not just for the Park District, it's for the whole state of Illinois. We follow the same guidelines that every other school does in the state. So as long as a child turns 5 after September 1st, they're all have the same opportunity that everyone else does to be able to be in pre-K or preschool for that year. So it does not matter when that child's birthday is. If their child's birthday is September 2nd, they would still have the same opportunities to register as everyone else. So yes, our play school options are more limited this year. So in the past, we have had multiple locations to register, but this year it is only going to be at Carroll, which is why I will really, really encourage everyone to sign up for the wait list. So that will give me an indication as to what would need to happen in the future. So if we're seeing what we're seeing, that'll guide us. So there's a lot of time between now and September, and we can, change things up. Maybe if space allows, if staffing allows, we'll do our best to accommodate what we can. Emily, there was one more.
There's actually 2 more. Another one came in. Just to clarify that with the enrollment, if they do no longer need the space, what happens there? So if they decide to change to go to kindergarten, or if they even change to a different program, what happens? So to their enrollment with our program.
Okay, so when you register, you will be submitting a $50 non-refundable registration fee to us as part of the whole process. In the early wave, that's all that we need from you. Your first tuition payment, which is essentially September's payment, is due May 15th, excuse me. If you drop within that time period before August 1st, your tuition will be refunded, but that $50 registration fee will remain with the Park District as a administration fee. There's that. I think that should take care of it.
I think so.
Okay. And then
and
class sizes.
our final question, let's finish off of what constitutes a blowout for a diaper change in a program? That was the final question.
Okay. So that's a really funny question. So
And on a light note, right?
Yeah, in preschool language talk, if it's a little baby bit, I'm not going to worry about it. If it's something where we're like, oh, this child needs support, then we will definitely make a phone call. So, yeah. If it's a little baby bit, we're not going to worry about it. We can still manage that. Yeah. Okay.
And
And
that's the end of our questions.
class sizes. Yeah, class sizes.
Oh, yes, class sizes. Yes,
Thank
class
you.
sizes.
Let me see if we can do that. So they vary depending on the age group. So the younger the children are, the smaller the classes are. So our Playschool program, we're starting out with 10 in that class. The older we get, there's a little bit more, like our pre-K has 15. Our preschools tend to have, our nature preschool has 12. And because of COVID, we're really restricted with not just what DCFS is telling us, what our class sizes should be, because we need to shrink that down to help with the social distancing part of it. Our Spanish class, for instance, will be very small because of where it's going to be in that classroom. We're going to start with 8 children. If things change with COVID, then we'll be able to expand that and have more. So that's, again, while I will strongly encourage you to sign up for that wait list, because as things change, we're seeing improvement every day, you know, with the vaccine rates, the positivity rates, all of that. I'm encouraged. So we'll hopefully be able to take on more children, and that can happen automatically in the Amelia system. So as spaces open up, then you will be contacted and you'll have 48 hours to respond. Otherwise, it goes to the next person on the list. Okay.
One more question came in.
Yep.
And do we know how many spots are available for non-priority Oak Park residents? Is there a way to know that?
Yeah, so it will depend on what happens in the previous waves of registration. So if there are spots that are already filled, you know, it's by the time that wave of registration comes around, that's when you can sign up for those classes. So we'll see what the spots and the availability looks like at that point. But again, there are people that have registered, for instance, for nature preschool who thought, wow, I'm never going to get in. And then people move, things change. Maybe class sizes open up a little bit more once COVID settles down a little bit, hopefully. And then we can open up more spaces. So, and then they come to school in August and when they thought, wow, I never thought I'd be here. And here we are. So yeah, we'll cross our fingers. We'll cross our fingers with that.
Another question came in,
Okay.
just to confirm. Yep, there's actually 2. Just to confirm that there will be no classes at Berry. Everything is at what locations currently?
Great. So maybe if I can really quickly flip back to that slide, maybe I can share my screen. So we're bumping up against another class that needs to start at 7:45. So I need to be very conscious of
2 minutes.
what we're doing here. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Share. I'm going to go back to this slide. Hopefully I can do that quickly. Right, so this year, next school year, we'll be at Longfellow, Austin Gardens, and Carroll. So we'll be at those 3 locations. Again, sign up for the wait list because that will give us information about what's going to happen with the different spots. So we're not as nearly as big as we were previously, but that could shift depending on multiple factors.
And then one last question, again, just clarifying that traditional preschool, the Spanish and regular preschool, not nature preschool, will it be, how many children are in that class?
So we're starting with 8 and it can go as large as 12 under the current structure.
Okay. That's it. There are no more questions in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for attending tonight. I know that's a lot of information in a relatively short period of time. I feel like we're all kind of zoomed out too. So it's nice to be able to see some familiar faces out there. It's great to see you without masks on. So that's always a good thing. And we will bid you good night. So please send me an email. We hope to see you at registration, and stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you very much and have a great night. Yeah, that's how we end, right? We have our little hearts Hearts, goodbye.